Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the middle of September of 2022, and we are just a couple of days out from Star Wars Andor debuting on Disney+, along with, of course, a couple of weeks until we finally get to see Tales of the Jedi on October 26th. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe between Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas is that they are all working together as a team to really bring Star Wars back to its roots by reviving a lot of legends and really taking a lot of George's ideas and putting them back into the Disney canon. This really is going to be the golden age of Star Wars if executed properly by all three. Now, with that being said, we have, of course, a lot of events on the horizon for 2023 that's really going to lend a lot of announcements to the fans. We got D23 next year, Star Wars Celebration, Disney Plus Day, all of which, by the way, are said to be far bigger than this year's. But Celebration is going to be the real event over in Europe that's going to actually have the most announcements for the roadmap of the franchise. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with what Favreau and Filoni are doing currently to the sequel trilogy lore and canon that's going to essentially reset some of the characters' backstories and identities and really giving fans a different perspective on one key character, for example, that we will be diving into right now, and that, of course, is Rey. Now, as you all know, and as we have discussed, they are working on the new bloodline for Rey. However, most recently, one of the biggest additions is changing Rey's official name. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm now creating new Star Wars projects that will be announced at Celebration next year, creators Favreau and Filoni are beginning to work on Mando 4 and other big shows that will revive Star Wars legends. However, it's described that one major change that Favreau and Filoni are working on is the new identity of Rey that will be used for the upcoming Star Wars canon. Now further, it's described that both Favreau and Filoni are going to be changing Rey's name in the canon by the end of 23 with a brand new bloodline background. As of this moment, Rey's name is going to be transferred to as Rey Solana instead of Rey Kenobi, Palpatine, or even Skywalker at that in the upcoming canon, with some pretty big design changes for the character to give her a fresh start in the Star Wars canon. Now further, it's described that though John and Dave will be making it out that Rey's bloodline will be both of a Kenobi and a Palpatine, their plan to simplify her name is by giving her a surname that was attached to her mother labeled as Miramur Kenobi Solana. The true meaning of the surname Solana is not yet understood, but Favreau and Filoni are currently working on the canon for all of that right now to revive some of Colin Trevorrow's work in the Star Wars world. Now let me just pause here quick for a second because there's more to the story than this that's very exciting. Now, Colin Trevorrow was the original Episode 9 writer, which, by the way, was going to be called Duel of the Fates. In Duel of the Fates, Rey's real surname was going to be unveiled as Rey Solana. So Solana was going to be the real surname of that character. That eventually got scrapped, completely put to the wayside by Kathleen Kennedy when she hired J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. Now, the thing about this too is that what Favreau and Filoni are doing now is that they are salvaging some elements of Duel of the Fates and how they can drag that into the upcoming post-Episode 9 material that's going to be told in both animated and live-action Star Wars projects for the future. Now, beyond this too, this is very exciting stuff, the fact that they are going to be diving more into Rey's mother's backstory. We only got to learn a little bit more about the characters in one of the most recent books that released back in June, and that really kind of, explored more avenues with Luke, Lando, Ochi, and a lot of other characters. So, the thing about this that's very much a debate between fans is this really necessary? Does this really need to even happen? And what kind of change is this really gonna shift within the Star Wars fandom? Now, I'm kind of in between. I feel like that Jon and Dave shouldn't even have to waste their time doing this, but at the same exact time, I gotta give them credit. This is going to be very entertaining and interesting to see in future books, TV shows, and more. The fact that she's going to be called Rey Solana, but is going to hold the bloodline of both a Kenobi and a Palpatine. And we're going to be diving into more specifics about that from what we have talked about for the past couple of weeks now. So, moving forward from all of that, in addition to the new name that Rey will be getting in a new Star Wars canon, the plan by Favreau and Filoni to make her both a Palpatine and Kenobi is that Palpatine's true son and Kenobi's brother's daughter met and had a child that turned out to be Rey, by giving her the name Rey Solana to protect her Kenobi background from being discovered. In addition, Favreau and Filoni are going to be creating a new origin for the name Rey itself as well, and why that name was chosen and what it really was based on. So, not only are they giving her a brand new surname, but they're going to be giving us the true origin and or the meaning of the name Rey in the Star Wars canon and lore. Now, that is once again a very interesting thing that Favreau and Filoni are trying to embrace and pursue, and they're pretty much on a roll at this point. I gotta give a lot of credit to Favreau and Filoni. I mean, these guys are dedicating their lives to turning Star Wars around, and everything beyond Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte, to me at least, are looking quite positive. I mean, Mando 3's trailer looked very much interesting. The images that we got for Ahsoka looks very stunning. And one thing I will add is that Tales of the Jedi, I think, is going to go down as hands down the best animated series, maybe even more than the Clone Wars, because we're finally getting to see angles that we have never seen before. Young Qui-Gon, Lightside Dooku, Yaddle, you name it. So anyways, moving on from all of this too, alright, this is where things begin to get a little bit more complicated, is that they are planning to introduce this into the form of books first, before they do this in live action form with new TV shows that they are pre-planning. This all begins at the very end of 23 with the books, and then eventually these new shows that are going to be in a post-Episode 9 era are going to debut. One of which, by the way, Daisy Ridley has signed up for. We talked about this a couple days ago, that she has been hired by Jon and Dave for a new series in live action. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, it was from like maybe 2 or 3 days ago. But moving forward from all of this too, this really does create a conversation. Is this really necessary to you guys? Because I know that there's a lot of fans out there that did not like the character of Rey. There's also a lot of, fans out there that love the character of Rey. I myself thought the character had flaws, absolutely, but she also had her strengths as a character, the way that she was inserted into the canon, but there were too many missing pieces, nothing was concrete. Her character felt like a bouncing ball where, things were going up and down with the character multiple times when it came to hints and or little nods to who she could possibly be. Now, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.